This is the 49th episode of CloudFocus Wiki for the last week of June 2011. This episode is titled Passe the Cloud. CloudFocus Wiki is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me today in his I Don't Like New York t-shirt, doesn't say that at all, is my co-host for the 49th time, Justin Elstein. Justin, how you doing?
I feel like I had some deja vu.
It's a little bit of deja vu.
A little weird.
It is. It's almost like we've done this 49 times.
Almost 50. Are we going to have a party?
We are.
Awesome.
All right. So let's go to our big agenda for today. We have Summer 11 favorites. We have a little blog post by you. We'll mention that. Big blog post by you.
It wasn't that big.
Chatter private message pilot. Talk about that. We'll talk about Beniof saying the cloud is passe.
Who's this Beniof you speak of?
I don't know. We'll talk about him. We have Foursquare news. Foursquare had basically three big announcements or three big things. I think they're maybe all small enough to bundle up into a Foursquare area of content. And then there's a new privacy module for Google where you can look at. I think that might make our Google quotient for the day. Then we'll finish off with our CloudFocus app pick of the week. So why don't we start off first with what's best, your Summer 11 favorite features on blog.arkusinc.com.
I always am the one that writes the list of favorites when every Salesforce release comes out. I don't know why I'm always the one who gets that, but I'm the one who gets it.
It's like the easiest blog post to write,
That's probably
I guess.
why I get it.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, whatever. So I wrote a little list, 5 of my favorite Summer 11 features. And
All right, give me your favorite of your 5.
Ooh, my favorite. Wow.
I don't want to hear all 5 because everybody's going to go to blog.arkusinc.com to read all 5.
Oh, wow.
So give me the
absolute favorite has to be Quick Find and Setup.
Okay, tell me about it.
Oh, it rocks. It puts a little search box on the top left area in the setup. So this is really admin specific because, I don't know how often an average user would go to the setup area. I don't even know if they know they can just go in there and change their personal information or their email settings. Although if Arkus trained you, you know that.
Oh, nice plug.
Very good. But anyway, as an admin, we're always in the setup area. We're always poking around in there. And, there's certain things that are just better if you could just start typing them in. Delegated administration. Not sure exactly where that one is. I know a lot of them. I know where things are, whether they're in customize, create, develop, monitoring, etc. But some of them you really have no idea where they are. So, you have a little handy search box. You start typing. As soon as you start typing, it starts filtering down the entire setup screen to just the things that you typed for, and boom, there you are. Quickly click. Very great. It's kind of like Quicksilver or Spotlight if you're a Mac user for the setup area in Salesforce.
It is absolutely a good thing. I don't use it.
You should get used to using it.
Yeah.
I know you've been trained over the last however many years, 5, 6, 7, let me keep going, 10 years of using Salesforce to use the navigation tree. And
yep.
But sometimes there's ones that you're not exactly sure where they are, and it's just easier to just type them in. And
I'll get used to it. I will say, if anybody knows that there's a key command to pop my cursor into that'll be useful. Because I'll find that search, when I use search, generally it's because it's easy to get to. So like the search on my laptop is Spotlight, it's command space, and it just pops up, and I'll type in a number like 5 plus, because I always have to know what 5 plus 5 is, and it's 10. Still is. So
like your Milli Vanilli album.
It is like my Vanilli. I find it on the iPhone or iPad. I know to swipe left, and then I get to the search. So I use search, but I have to know how to quickly get there.
That would be a neat little add-in or plug-in or extension or
Should
whatever
be built in.
that when you land in the setup area, it just puts your cursor in the quick find and lets you start searching.
My favorite of your 5 favorite. I'm just going to try something. See if I can. Nope, can't do it. I was trying to see if there was a key command to get in there, but there isn't that I know of. My favorite of your favorites is report building, is the dynamic new features in report building. A couple of them. The one that I like the most is that when you click on things, they just start to add in and rebuild it sort of asynchronously, so you don't have to like click wait, and you can pick multiple fields and pick them over.
Multiples is the best.
The mechanism for grabbing multiple fields I don't think is intuitive as it could be, because I find myself command clicking and then clicking again, and then it's this.
At first, I found myself sorting columns a
Right.
lot, but then I realized you really do have to hold the command, or I guess on a PC, a control key down and then start clicking on them. Otherwise, if you try and do it at the same time, or click one and hold command, then it just starts sorting them.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
But I'm used to it now, and I love it. I was using it just this afternoon to get rid of like 16 fields on a report to just get down to name and ID. That's all I needed.
It's very, very good. So
Very
lots
useful.
of new features. Everybody should have Summer 11 now.
Yep.
Your 5 list is up on blog.arkusinc.com.
Interestingly enough, I posted this blog post to our Twitter account, both the Arkus Inc. Twitter account as well as mine, and I got a private message back from the product manager of Chatter saying, "Hey, just read your blog post. Have you played with the Chatter API, and how do you like, or have you seen private messages?" I said, "Oh, well, let me take this off Twitter because I need to write you more than 140 characters in my direct message reply." And I said, "Oh, we're not in private message pilot. Why don't you put us in it?" So he very quickly, I sent him our org ID, and boom, we were in the private message pilot. So I should mention pilot. Program.
Safe harbor t-shirt.
Applies, not generally available. Very nice. There are certainly some features that I've already sent him a list of about 7 features that I think it could include.
Like most of them are just common Chatter
features.
features.
Common features. Some of them are coming. Some of them they're working on. Some of them we went back and forth a couple times about how I might want it to look or whatnot. I love having some impact on these products. But essentially, it's direct messaging. That's like direct messaging within Twitter, but within Chatter. So you're on your Chatter tab. You have to be in the Chatter tab, and above all the filters on the left-hand side is a new filter called My Messages. You click that, and then it loads a screen where you can send private messages that only show up in that area. So you can send them to one person, or you can send them to multiple people, creating sort of like an ad hoc private group, if you will. One thing that I mentioned, I'd like them to show up other places.
They got
only show up in that My Messages, which is, he gave me the answer. It's very much like Twitter and direct messages. Direct messages don't show up in your Twitter feed. They show up in the direct messages section. That's sort of what they were thinking.
That's true.
So there was a rationale behind it. It wasn't just they didn't just throw it there. There was a rationale behind it. And for now, we've just been playing with it. You get the emails. You can respond to the emails. They go in. That's nice. And it has a couple nice little features. And, of course, it's in pilot, so it's missing a few things that I think it should have. And once we play with it a little more, we'll expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, I would think that one big ask for Chatter coming up is get Chatter, besides remembering my preference for expanded or contracted based on object type, which I don't know if it's an ID exchange, but it should be, is making it more prevalent. If you start to use Chatter more and more as a communication tool, and there's still kind of a learning curve with that, I want it up near my username. I want next to my username, just like in Facebook or anything else. Like if he's saying that Twitter is that, then Facebook is the opposite, because Facebook, whenever you log in, messages, notifications, all that are in the top, right up there with a little red on them, and that there's something new waiting for you. That doesn't happen here. It needs to happen up there by your username in the dropdown. So cool. I didn't know you could send to 2 people at the same time.
Yeah, it was very cool. As I was putting in my feedback, I was like, one of the things I was writing was, you should be able to do it to more than one person at a time. And then before I hit send, I said,
let me check.
Check and make sure that that's not there. And then it was, and it was pretty neat that it was there.
All right. So I don't know how they would get that. Wait for it. It'll be out soon.
Yeah, it's you might see something at Dreamforce. If you're cool like us, you have it already. But,
wow. You're calling all them not cool?
Who's them?
Everybody listening right now.
I'm not saying they're not
definitely
cool. Some
Zach.
of them probably have it.
You're definitely talking about Zach.
Wow.
So, all right. So, next story up is Mr. Beniof at CloudForce. I think it was in the Boston CloudForce, which some people we know went to. Made the comment that the cloud is passe. which is an odd thing. I think he said it in context of the context was that now it's all sort of it's been done. Cloud is done. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. There's no
trying to say like email is passe, like everyone's done email.
It's like it's over. It's now time to move to the next thing. And the next thing for him clearly is the social movement, and he gave examples of companies who have social monitoring and social monitoring systems, and obviously Salesforce provides one and bought another one in Radian 9, Radian 6?
Radian
Radian 420. Yeah, see, there you go. Two numbers.
Radian 6.
Radian 6. And so
we're going to the judges. Radian 6.
Radian 6. Clearly, we're going to find more of that at Dreamforce. I'm sure it's going to be more built in.
There's a whole track on social.
Twitter and Facebook integration, more and more.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Mr. Mark Beniof calling the cloud passe.
Yep.
He spent the last 2 years rebranding all of his products to include the word cloud in it. It wasn't Sales Cloud and Service Cloud 2 years ago. It was Salesforce Automation and Help Desk. Service.
Call Center.
Call Center. And now he's got the Collaboration Cloud and the Force.com Custom Cloud. Why spend all this time putting a word in all your product names that you're then going to call passe? It seems opposite.
It does. It does sort of. I mean, clearly we have to rename this podcast immediately because CloudFocus. Passe Focus. It does seem strange, although I think that's just sort of the way to make news and stay hip and whatever. We've talked to insiders inside of Salesforce, and they have said that it is still in the enterprise, in the large enterprise. Yes, small businesses move to Google, Gmail, and Google Apps and all that. But in the large enterprise, there's still a huge hump to get over in terms of what the cloud is, what it can offer, what its differentiating factors are. So I know he's sort of saying, hey, that was so. It's sort of like Steve Jobs. Like we made the comment before about the iPad,
the best at it.
The iPad and the iPad 2. He gets up, he does this whole video thing about the iPad, the original one. Oh, it's the greatest thing to ever happen. It's changed the world, and then he can literally within 30 seconds switch into, but now this is the iPad 2 that makes that one a piece of junk. And just say that
when they did their last, Apple's like the best at this. When they did their new OS announcements, like they would poop on the old OS. Like users found this so difficult to do. Now look how easy it is.
Yeah, and within 6 months we're talking about the next one,
and you're still using the thing that's really hard to use.
It's good. It gets you to buy. So I think that's what he's sort of saying is like, okay, everybody at this point should know that the cloud exists and why it's there and that we're the best at it and blah, blah, blah. It's now about the social aspect, and that's what I'm going to push forward. My guess is he'll back away from that one by the time we get to Dreamforce. I doubt there will be less clouds at Dreamforce. So, but moving on to some
social news.
Some social news. Actually, one of my new favorite obsessions. I think one of our listeners made a comment on Foursquare to me saying, when is Justin going to become the mayor of Arkus again? And I don't think I responded because
never.
Yeah, because you gave up. But anyway, Foursquare is.
I've decided that I'm only checking in at either places I've never been before or rare places.
So let's talk a little bit about Foursquare for anybody who doesn't know. It is a social gaming GPS location-based system.
Geolocation
game
check-in.
Social network.
The game aspect's the catchy part of it.
Well, a game, and then there's a commerce aspect. So we've talked about it before. Basically, using your phone that has GPS built in, you log into it, you check in, I'm quoting, air quoting, to places that exist, and you say, I'm going to be here, and then it tells you your friends around you, and then it gives you points, and then if you check into a place enough times, you become the mayor of that place, and you get more points, and there's leaderboards, and anyway, so 3 pieces of news, basically going back to our 2011 predictions, where one of my predictions was that I think there is going to be a competitor to Facebook that people are going to make, by the end of 2011, are going to say are a legitimate competitor to Facebook, that will show up. I'm not sure it's Foursquare, but they just hit 10 million users, which is a nice big number. Now, Facebook's, I think it's 600 million or 500.
It was 7.
No, they're not 700.
I think they were.
Okay,
well, no, we can use Google to find that out.
600, 700 million Facebook users. Who cares? But Foursquare's gotten to 10 million. I don't think Foursquare could ever scale as well as Facebook because the nature of it, I think, is even more. The model is more private. I personally don't really want to have hundreds of followers on Foursquare who track me checking into the park, checking into my garage, checking into the
Your
MTA.
Bathroom.
I do not do
That's
my bathroom.
how you win.
I do not.
You know you do.
I do not check into my bathroom.
You do.
But I check into these. I check into these spots all over the place. That if you were to look at the feed, it's like this tracking of where I go, which is a little bit.
That's why it's for the inner circle.
Yeah, it's very inner circle. It's a small inner circle inside the inner circle. But I love the gaming aspect. Anyway, they hit 10 million users. They released a new version to the iPhone, which makes checking in much faster, which is one of the problems.
I went the other day
It's like
after,
bam, bam.
after it updated.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, all right, I'll open it up because
Yep.
it updated, and it is a lot quicker.
And they've made it much more prevalent. And then they did the thing that I think is probably the most interesting to talk about, which is Foursquare's always had a business model built into it, which was that you could offer these specials. And if people checked in or did things at the place that they were, you could then show it and get a discount. So when you're checking into a place, it might say, oh, there's 13 specials nearby, and it might be restaurants or bars or whatever, that if you go check in at that place, you get a discount.
You also get free stuff if you're a mayor.
Right, you might get free
if
stuff.
You're
So
the
I've
mayor,
seen,
or if the mayor's here.
I've seen so much as free drinks at a bar. I've personally done the 10% off as a local restaurant where I
have
live.
done it as well.
Where if you just show that you checked in, you get 10%. 10% off your bill of $80 is $8. That's a small price to pay for just going check in at a restaurant. But now they've made a deal with Amex, which I think is kind of even more interesting because now they're saying that they're going to start to do deals that are related to using your Amex card and checking in. So checking in and then using your Amex card will get you something. I don't know how what the details are yet to come,
Yep.
but
apparently Foursquare is not making anything off this deal. It's more just we did this deal, we can pull this off, let's do some more deals like it and actually make some money.
Yeah, but again, if they go from 10 to 20 million people because people start to, I get more discounts. My wife we were talking about getting something for my daughter for her birthday, and she goes, we have to go to Modell's because Modell's, if you check in, you get $10 off if you spend this. I mean, so it's already kind of permeating that, if you check in this place, we went to Tasty Delight the other day.
Yes, we
and
did.
we walked away, and then
we did.
And I went to check in, and there was a special that we didn't even know before we checked in there.
Should have checked in when we got there.
Exactly. So, but I think that aspect to it, not only the gaming aspect, which I really like about it, but this commerce aspect, I think it has a real big pull. And we'll see as it goes because it's something that I don't think Facebook has done very well. There's no commerce pull for me to go to Facebook, but if there's a commerce pull to me to go to Foursquare, and that I think keeps it alive. And so that's sort of the Foursquare news, as it were. And then last but not least, before we get to our CloudFocus app picks of the week, Google, the company formerly known for making the Wave, has launched.
Ooh,
very good,
they're
right?
not really known for it, but they did do it.
Someone questioned you the other day. You were on a phone call, and someone questioned, you're still using that?
It was yesterday. I was on a call with one of our clients, and I bounced over to Google Wave, or I was on the phone with a support rep, and I bounced over to Google Wave to go get a piece of information that we store there that I needed for the call, and he was like, "What's that?" And I said, "It's Google Wave." And he said, "Oh, I remember that. I used it like 2 years ago for one thing."
Right.
It's like, yes, we use it constantly.
Can't stop using
You
it.
clearly don't listen to the CloudFocus Weekly podcast.
No, because if you did, it would be mentioned 49 times at very least.
Right.
So Google has released a new feature in your dashboard called the Privacy Module, which...
I thought it's called Me on the Web.
Well, it's a privacy module in that you might be right. It's not called Privacy Module, but it is a module that shows you sort of where your social pieces or what within Google is sort of exposed. And so when you land on it, it's under google.com/dashboard. So if you're logged into Google, which it almost feels like I'm always logged into Google, it then goes to, profiles.google.com/your username, and then it shows you all the sort of things that you have, you've been a part of socially. So Picasa Web, your plus ones, if you put in any links or any buzz, even includes, your location
everything.
stuff. Yeah, it
your
does.
Your Reader account, your Blogger account, your Gmail account, groups, everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's nice because it kind of wraps it up, so at least you can see sort of where you're available, which is a good thing. I think, it's one of the things about these other social networks. You don't have a really good sense of where your stuff is available. I think the problem with Google is that these things, they make so many of these little things, they're just not, they're hard to find. I'm sorry, but even searching for them, I go look under is my account settings, is it this settings? I never seem to know where to go find the thing that I need to do. Like even the two-factor authentication under Google, it's always like, where is that thing again? It doesn't seem, it's always hidden under some sub-menu. Maybe they just have too much stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, adding in a social view it's
not even social.
Not wet. Well, the plus one.
Well, it's not even that. It's you can remove content about you from showing up on their search results.
That's
so
very
a picture
important.
Of you, or your phone number or something. You can go in and say, "Get rid of this. I don't want this."
Right. Again, nice that they're exposing
it's only in Google. It's not like removing it from the internet.
Right.
It's removing it from Google search results.
Some people would say if you remove it from Google, you're kind of removing it from the internet. I had an interesting side story about social privacy. Someone posted a video of their kid and my child onto YouTube and sent it out. And they made it as an unlisted posting on YouTube. And I immediately kind of went, wow, don't do that. And we went back and forth over email and I said, could you please remove it? It's cute, but could you put it on Facebook? And my reasoning was that, basically trying to explain to this person, which was, even though it's unlisted in YouTube, it's only protected by an URL. And an URL can be found, linked to, sent, resent, posted on a blog. It's not at all private. What's nice about Facebook, and we begin to trust Facebook for this, is that if she posts a video of her kid or my kid, or pictures of her kid or my kid on Facebook, I know that it's limited to a universe, right? We talk about social circles. I know it's limited to her friend set, right? Her 200 whatever friends she has, which I can easily find out basically who those friends are and how many she has. But I know that it can't go beyond that, and that it can't happen that somehow it just gets linked to and that someone's looking at this video. So it's an interesting take. And I don't think people understand this, and it's going to become one of these. We have the mistakes of people twittering their stuff to the wrong people or doing it for the right people. But all this kind of stuff of posting images and sort of the privacy model. I don't know. There's something interesting out there about where this is going, and do we just get numb to it as a society, like our information being completely out there, or?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, people are getting there. I still think there are some like yourself who would say, get my daughter off YouTube, put it on Facebook. Like, there are definitely people who don't really care.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, I just think there's some of it that's, you go on vacation now with your friends. You go down to, I don't know, Atlantic City or something. You're out there partying with a bunch of your friends, and people are taking pictures with their cell phones, and all of a sudden you get back home, and your Facebook account's lit up like a Christmas tree, and you're like, what the heck? And all of a sudden it's because one of your buddies who thinks it's funny posted a picture of you at the local Hooters, and your significant other at the time doesn't like you going to Hooters, and like that kind of stuff I think happens more often than not. And I don't know, like I just it's just an interesting thing. And how do we deal with like this sort of ubiquitous camera, video, and social network that's also connected? And how do we teach the people we love to, respect them, or not to just sort of instantly post stuff?
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
That's it. All right.
It's over.
It's over.
The world is ending.
All your information belonged to us.
Yes.
Excellent.
It's over.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are over, this podcast is not one of them, because we have the CloudFocus app pick of the week, and I'm going to have you go first.
I'm going first, eh?
Yep,
Okay.
for the first time.
So I am for the first time.
For
Sure.
the first time this podcast.
Sure.
Yep.
I'm picking a Force.com Labs project.
Surprise, surprise.
I haven't done it in a while.
That's true.
So I'm picking a new one on the App Exchange called Graphics Pack. It's pretty neat. It installs a bunch of graphics for you to use as icons or images on like tabs or within pages, visual text pages, or as formula fields on within fields. So it just installs a bunch of 16 by 16 and 32 by 32 images, and the 32 by 32 could be used by tabs. The 16 by 16 could be used in image formula fields. In some you see like the street lamp and the stars and the built-in like images that are inside of Salesforce. They give you a whole slew of them, and it's pretty neat. So it throws them into the documents, and then you can use them from there.
And I assume
Free.
the price is free. How's the code coverage on it?
It's just images. There's no code.
Just images,
There's
no
images.
code.
It just gives you a whole slew of images.
That's nice. It's something I always wondered how you create your own kind of thing. Or I love the images, but I find as I log through people's orgs and you see how they use they use the bank one for money, or they use the bank one for accounts. There's always some sort of thing on it. So good. Force.com Labs. What's the name of it again?
It is called Graphics Pack.
Graphics Pack. All right, great. Force.com Labs.
Just
all right.
Puts a folder in your Documents tab and throws a whole bunch of images in there.
I like it. Mine is a little bit off the beat in path. It's something that showed up in some blog post somewhere. I went and I looked at it. I used it. And I've now been trying to figure out how we can incorporate it into what we do, because it solves a problem that I think happens more than often. It's called HelloFax. It is www.hellofax.com. And it is, I would say, a combination fax service and sort of document signing service. So the case happens almost all the time that you have documents that you need to, someone sends you a PDF and you need to sign it and send it, right? So what you have to do is you have to print it out, sign it with your hand, and then either scan it back in and send the PDF, or go and fax it back to them, which is a pain, right? So I agree. What this service does is allows you to basically take a document, so that someone emails you the document, you can then just sign and fax it back at the same time. So you can go to upload the document. It then turns it into something that's almost editable. You can drop a signature on it, drop a check mark, drop text on it, and then hit fax, and then give it either an email address or a fax number, and it will then fax out the sort of modified document.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so it is.
Can we start using that here at Arkus?
We can. I actually started looking at it. The thing I couldn't figure out was I started looking at it for a couple minutes, but the thing I couldn't figure out was sort of a business account. So it's free to start, right? So you can just go. Oh, it also has the ability to have things come into it. So you can have things come in. You can have it as a fax number. So you can have a fax number they give you, which we have electronic e-fax, which is basically a fax number that goes to a place that then turns it into a PDF and sends it to you via email. This will do the same thing, but then, of course, instead of having to take the email and upload it again, you can just hit click, send, whatever. Click, sign, whatever. It's free to start. You can send off one. I just sent myself an example of it. It's pretty cool. Send in, actually fax from an e-fax to another e-fax, so I'm sort of breaking the world thing. But then...
It blew my mind.
So you can do 5 pages for free. You can do 5 pages free. And then...
How much is 5 pages?
5 fax pages. That's, 5
gotcha.
Fax pages.
Does that
if you're
include
faxing
cover?
Out. It's any
you
page.
Have to say 5 pages, including
the cover. And then you can do basic for $4.99 and go up to premium $9.99 or max, which gives you 2,000 fax pages a month.
Whoa.
A local or toll-free number.
A lot of faxing.
Unlimited signed emails and a 30-day free trial. So it's pretty cool. I mean, again, give it a shot. It is a problem that happens all the time. You need to sign something. I don't want to go through 4 steps. A, waste the paper. B, have to scan it back in or do any of that. So HelloFax.com starts at free, but you can go up to $40 a month for it. The thing I couldn't figure out was a corporate plan. Like, give me an account that multiple people can log in or use it. It seemed to be one user type of thing. So that's it. That is the bell that says it's time to end the CloudFocus Weekly Podcast. Well, those are our picks of the week. Again, if you want to read the blog post, it's at blog.arkusinc.com. We've coming up on a 1-year anniversary for blogs, too. I think it was end of July we posted our first blog. So that's cool.
We've got to be coming up on the year anniversary of the pod.
Oh, definitely getting
50,
close.
I mean, have we missed a week?
We did miss 1 week, but we had 1 week with 3.
Yeah, Dreamforce week.
Dreamforce week, I think we did like 2 in one and then 2 in the other.
Got to be coming up. We got to check the dates.
I'm sure it's up there. I'm sure I could figure it out in about 2 seconds. While I'm figuring it out, you go to twitter.com/ArkusInc, which is the company, or twitter.com/JasonMAtwood, or twitter.com/JustEdelstein. Or we're on Facebook if you want to see every last podcast we ever posted. We did put them up all on Facebook. And and subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, which is the place that you can hit subscribe. Leave a great review up there. That would be nice.
Yeah,
we like to see a good review. I almost found the answer here. I was trying to click on the thing, but it's not coming up. Which is, I think it was a July something. So it was end of July. So maybe we'll have another party for that one. A party for 50, a party for July, all going to happen.
Are we coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the blue snowball?
We might be. Maybe do the first one over Skype.
I'm a big fan of the blue snowball.
The blue snowball that is actually the color of black, which is interesting.
Well, it's a black blue snowball.
Black blue snowball. Black and blue snowball. All right, so that's it. So subscribe to iTunes. Leave a review there. That would be great. And until next week, when we'll be back with more exciting news about this and other blue snowballs, enjoy those cloudy days.